Other interesting business news, you have Lucid Q3 results are in, and revenue is down about 30%. Now, Lucid, if you're not a big, I would say, gearhead is really more traditional petrol head. Someone who's really passionate about automotives. Ideally, they enjoy having experience with three pedals, also known as manual transmission, as every car should have by default. Now, Lucid, I don't know what. I guess maybe if you're not an EV enthusiast, I'm trying to think of who would know about Lucid. Nevertheless, they're a luxury EV manufacturer. Their cars range, I believe, anywhere between about 95,000 and 249,000, and their marketing is so bad. Well, I should say their design, in my opinion, they all look the same. It's part of the reason I think that the Chevy SS was such a commercial failure. As much as I love this Chevy SS, it was an import from Australia. It was the Holden SS, but they rebadged it Chevy SS. They really didn't give it a model name, which is kind of the detriment to that. But it was great. That vehicle had a stick shift and a V8. I mean, that was awesome. But the advertising, the Chevy SS looks so similar, unless you're an enthusiast, to like the Chevy Malibu, and they put no marketing behind it. I think one of the reasons Lucid's adoption rate is not as great as Tesla's, well, one, the price point is even more expensive, but the differences between the lower end Lucid Air, I believe it's called, and the Sapphire is I think that's their top of the line option. They look so similar. Unless you're like a really passionate about that and you can spot out the little nuances, little differences. I'm just skeptical to know how many people would go for that really, really, really expensive option. And again, it's for a disposable toy. I say that because, again, with technology, there very well might be a new EV battery technology tomorrow, since technology does move quick. With the current lithium-ion technology we have now, it's basically a glorified smartphone, which again is basically disposable. Also, only one company can work on that product, so your mom and pop dealer down the street or your mom and pop mechanic can't work on your vehicle. It's like a smartphone, just as disposable, and I would also argue worse for the environment. Perhaps another topic for another time for that analysis, however. Now, specifically getting to the numbers, this thanks to Yahoo Finance, which we very well might be giving Yahoo more shoutouts in the past 2 weeks than most people have in the past 20 years. If you're an old soul like me, you remember what Yahoo used to be. The OG search engine, as some might say. Now, getting to the physicals, Lucid reported Q3 revenue of 137.8 million, and they attributed that to the customer deliveries of 1,457 vehicles in the quarter, which, again, that's, in terms of commercial volume, that's nothing. That's compared to the traditional automotive companies like Tesla, Volkswagen, General Motors. Like, that's basically a rounding error. But again, they're still relatively new. They're building up capacity. They're also building a new factory. Now, they also noted that the production of the Lucid Air Pure rear-wheel drive began in September and is in the process of ramping up. Production of the Lucid Air Sapphire also began in September, thus completing the Lucid Air lineup. Which again, all the trim levels, they all look so familiar. They're all so close. Now, they also completed general assembly production, shifted to phase 2 of Lucid's factory in Arizona. They also opened their first manufacturing plant in Saudi Arabia, which, again, one of the reasons, and I don't give financial advice. I always say the best advice you can give financially is to gamble on yourself, start a business. But nevertheless, one of the reasons I suspect Lucid is a more stable company than their stock represents is because Saudi Arabia just keeps throwing money at them. In Saudi Arabia, in terms of their economy, where they're trying to change the country, they really want to become more of a technology company or technology country, and they want to be seen as more innovative. They want to invest heavily in technology. And Saudi Arabia, they're known for oil production. That's why they're so massively wealthy. And they are throwing a lot of money at this company. They're one of the largest investors, in fact. So when you have someone who cares about that business, who has relatively unlimited money in terms of an oil-based country, it's interesting to see how much. I suspect the company will be okay regardless of finances for quite some time. Now, they also know that they closed their Aston Martin transaction and commenced the strategic technology arrangement. Lucid also appointed Mark Winteroff as its first ever chief operating officer, overseeing the daily operations and execution across global manufacturing, supply chain, sales and service, revenue, marketing, international markets. Now, Lucid Gravity, the company that's going to be the all-new electric SUV, will be unveiled on November 16th at the LA Auto Show, with the start production of that on track for late 2024. So it'll be interesting to see how do they differentiate that from the Tesla crossover SUV, whatever you want to call the little thing. I would suspect it's going to be slightly different styling and much more expensive price point. So it'll be interesting to see how many people gravitate to a Lucid SUV. Now, in terms of the production outlook, they claimed for 2023 they revised it to 8,000 to 8,500 from the prior guidance of more than 10,000 to pretty align with deliveries. So now their goal is about 8,000 to 8,500. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. Let me know in the comments. Do you think things will get better for Lucid? I mean, their stock is precipitously, it's kind of a bargain buy, some might say. Because even as I look it up right now, sub $4 per share, market cap of $9 billion. The 52-week low is, quite recently, it's $3.95. It's $3.98 today. Oh, as of this recording, granted it fluctuates the stock market quite much. And I mean, what's the year to date? So the Max stock, they're IPO'd at $9.89 per share. So that means they've lost 59.81% of their stock value in total. So that's stock's taking a beating. So it'll be interesting to see. And it looks like in terms of how much they lost per EV, a website by the name of Inside EVs say that they lost $430,000 per EV sold, which that's better than last quarter. Last fiscal quarter, they apparently lost $544,000 per vehicle sold. So again, very similar to Rivian, every quarter that loss is decreasing, or rather it's getting lesser and lesser. So it'll be interesting to see, again, when do they get to that point in which they become profitable? That's really the long-term elephant in the room, so to say. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I would never buy one personally just because, they only have 2 pedals, which, to me, what's the difference between that and just sleeping? I'm one of those old souls that actually prefer having a manual transmission, also known as 3 pedals. It goes stick shift, as every car should have by default. But nevertheless, let me know in the comments, would you ever buy a Lucid? And if so, would you spend money to get the Lucid Sapphire Banana Falcon, whatever they call the top line one, which is $249,000 before tax, title, registrations? Let me know. I'll be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking time to tune in today, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of November. So if you can click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment is a great way to help me know what I need to improve on in terms of slowing down my rate of speech, as well as working on my enunciation and decreasing my stuttering. Again, clicking the button may very well cure those things. It'll be interesting to see, but time shall tell. And lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight,